What is going on, Bucs fans? Evan Wanish here, and today we are going to be starting our brand new series, taking a look at each of the position groups for the Buccaneers, group by group, position by position, and reviewing them. Who's on the depth chart? Who could possibly be a riser in training camp? Who could be someone who may have their starting job taken away? We're going to start off with the quarterbacks here, and it's pretty straightforward. I think you know what most of this video is going to be about. Obviously, largely about replacing this guy. Of course, Tom Brady, the GOAT, retiring, and there's big shoes to fill, obviously. So right now, the Buccaneers currently only have three quarterbacks on their roster. So in past years, they've carried four during training camp, at least, just to have some camp arms. Right now, they're not doing that. So the three quarterbacks are Kyle Trask, who they drafted in the second round, Baker Mayfield, who they signed as a free agent, and also John Walford, who they signed as a free agent a couple weeks back as well. Interestingly enough, the only one that was on the team last year was Kyle Trask himself, and obviously Trask has not had much experience at all. So, going to be interesting to see how this room shakes out. But I know that John Walford's there. I no disrespect to him, but there's not going to be much of a mention of him in this video just because everybody's going to have their eyes on the quarterback battle, right? The quarterback competition between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. Who's going to win that? As we're looking at Baker Mayfield, of course, the signee, right? The free agent signing, only signed a 1-year deal, not a lot of money, not much risk involved, a lot of upside for the Buccaneers with this deal. Baker Mayfield has been a polarizing player in his entire NFL career, and that's no different right now from what I've seen on social media and stuff. A lot of people have a very different opinion on him. Some think there's more in the tank and he can provide a spark to the team, similar to what Geno Smith did for the Seattle Seahawks last year. And then there's others that think he is a lost cause, and the Buccaneers are going to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes this coming after this upcoming season. But we're here to break it down. So let's take a look at Baker Mayfield first. Obviously, the number one overall draft pick in 2018, very high profile career at Oklahoma. Was with Cleveland for, I believe, 4 seasons. And the thing about it is, he played well at times, and talent I don't think has ever been an issue. He suffered some injuries. Decision making has not been there at times. Really, the thing that has really hurt him has just been the inconsistencies. And he hasn't been able to string it together for long enough to be able to be that franchise quarterback, be that number one overall pick type player. Now, he did lead the Browns to the playoffs in 2020. The first time the Browns have been in the playoffs in a long time, but uh, a lot of people would say, well, they had Nick Chubb, they had a good defense, the run game, this and that. He still did it. He is the only quarterback on the roster right now with playoff experience on this team, with starter playoff experience, and he is also actually that's false. I believe John Wolford has started a playoff game. I'm sorry, I apologize, but he's won a playoff game. So Baker Mayfield, obviously coming in, has sort of one last chance, I think, at his career. I mean, you got to think this is it for him. This is his fourth team in a calendar year. His fourth team. That's pretty remarkable to think. Obviously, he was with the Browns, forced his way out of there. That was a pretty messy situation. Ended up being traded to the Carolina Panthers before last season. After a few weeks with the Panthers, things just didn't go well. He went 1-5 as a starter, was replaced by a combination of Sam Darnold and PJ Walker. Not good. And then ended up getting cut, actually, by the Panthers just a few weeks after they, had traded for him in the offseason. Goes to the Rams, and on a short week, I believe he got claimed off waivers on a Tuesday, plays that Thursday night football game against the Raiders and beats the Las Vegas Raiders and plays well in that game. Had the game winning drive. That would be his only win as the Rams starting quarterback. But he completed 82 of his passes, 63.6% of his passes for 850 yards, including 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions in 4 games is something I think you'd want to see, considering this is a player who at times has had trouble with turnovers. Had 14 interceptions in his rookie season. The next season was 21. So a lot of Bucs fans are really used to seeing a quarterback turn the ball over a lot, and they know it's not good. So I think a key for Mayfield this season, if he wants to, one, win the starting job, and if he does win it, if he wants to keep it, he's going to have to limit those turnovers and find some sort of consistency. Now, let's move on to the real wild card, though. The real wild card here has to be Kyle Trask. Obviously, second round pick of the Buccaneers in 2021. He sat for a year with Tom Brady, then he sat for another year. And the issue with Kyle Trask, particularly, being your starter, is there's this for he's a third year player. This is his third year in the NFL. There's not much experience, though. There's not much actual in-game regular season experience, and that's going to hurt his case to win this battle. The Bucs are not tanking. Regardless of what people may say, the national pundits may say, the Bucs are not in a position to where they need to tank. Todd Bowles knows that his job could be on the line this coming season if things don't go well. So I don't think they're going to be tanking. They're going to go with the quarterback that gives them the best shot to win. Does Kyle Trask do that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they see it now. If Kyle Trask goes out there and outperforms Baker Mayfield in training camp, plays better than him in the preseason, he has earned the job. Congratulations to him that he has earned that quarterback job. However, there's a lot of people that I've seen a lot of, different places, but a lot of people that seem to think, Kyle Trask was a second round pick. He has to be the guy. That's not necessarily the case, because if he's not good enough to be the starter, he's just not good enough to be the starter. At that point, you just got to say, hey, you took a swing, you missed. It's okay. It happens. So Kyle Trask has appeared in one regular season NFL game, and that was last year's regular season finale at Atlanta, where the Bucs starters started the game, were pulled at halftime. And then Blaine Gabbert actually ended up playing a little bit, which I didn't understand that decision at the time. I figured, there was a real possibility that you weren't going to be playing the season with Tom Brady. Why not get another look at Kyle Trask? They gave him, I think, about a quarter. I think he played the fourth quarter, went 3 for 9 on his attempts with 23 yards. You could argue, the competition that he was playing with wasn't great, and that's fair. That is completely fair. You could also argue the competition, the players that he's playing with in the preseason are not always that great, which his lackluster preseasons as well. He hasn't lit the world on fire there either. But I will say one thing about the preseason, and that's a little different. That's why I'm willing to give him a pass on the Falcons game, because the preseason games, he's not playing against the other defenses starters, right? He's playing against their third and fourth string guys. The Falcons game he was playing, I mean, the Falcons kept a lot of their starters in. So I'll give him a slight pass for that. You would have liked to see it a little bit more, but I'll give him a slight pass for that. And the preseason games, though, what happens when he's going up against guys like Aaron Donald for 60 minutes now instead of, very little action, or sometimes not at all? That's scary to think about, because you don't know what you have. And is there talent there? Yeah. I mean, he was in the Heisman Trophy talk in his final year at Florida. Broke a lot of records. Him and Kyle Pitts really, tore up the SEC. But it's just it's not that easy, and it's not going to be an easy decision. That transition for Kyle Trask, it doesn't seem like it's been seamless. Now, also, he's learning a brand new offense. He had a different offense now than he just did the first 2 years of his career. That's going to be an adjustment. It just is. So, looking at this quarterback room with Kyle Trask, Baker Mayfield, John Walford, I do like the depth that they have. Like I think if one goes down, any of those guys could step in and be serviceable at times. I don't think it's such where if one guy goes down, you are at a extreme competitive disadvantage. However, I have to imagine this is Baker Mayfield's job to lose right now. And this is being recorded before training camp, about a month and a half before training camp. So plenty can happen. Plenty can happen, folks. But I do think that right now, given his experience, given just the way the coaches talk about him, I think the Bucs are going to look to give Baker Mayfield one last chance to be a starter in this league, and we'll see if he can take advantage of it. It's a big opportunity for him, but when you're looking at this quarterback room with Mayfield, with Trask, with Walford, there's a lot of intrigue. I would say that's the word I would use. I would use intrigue because I think there's a lot of interesting storylines here, and I am curious to see how this quarterback battle shapes out. Now, let me know how you think this quarterback battle will shape out. Do you think it's going to be Baker Mayfield? Do you think it's going to be Kyle Trask? Do you think there's any shot John Walford has? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and talk soon.